Myles Awakens, Episode 4, Part 1. The Search Begins. Sunday evening draped the house in a soft quiet. Myles sat on his bed, still wearing his stiff Sunday clothes. The small, dark Bible felt heavier than usual on his lap. Since the sermon earlier that day about confusion and truth, Myles felt different, as if a quiet hum lived just behind his ears. He stared at the cover, unable to open it, unable to look away. A moment later, his door creaked open. His mom, Tamara Black, stepped in holding a laundry basket, her long dress rustling slightly. "Hey, sweetie," she murmured, softening her voice.
Hey, sweetie, are you okay? You've been quiet since we got home.
Yeah, Mom, I'm just thinking.
She noticed the Bible, smiled gently, and placed the basket down. "Well, that's good thinking," she said. "But remember, whatever it is, I'm here if you need to talk." Much later, after the sun had set, his dad, Paul Black, came by. Myles had changed into comfortable clothes. "Mr. Black," his dad said, using their usual joke, "you look like you're off in another world tonight." Myles sighed. "I think I'm just tired, Dad. Tired body, tired mind." Paul nodded, resting his hand on the doorframe. "It happens. Just don't carry too much of the world's weight, all right? It's too heavy for 10-year-olds. When the house was completely dark and silent, Myles pulled his tablet out from under his mattress. His fingers moved quickly, typing the phrase that Pastor Chop had warned them about: Hebrew Israelites' angry street preaching. He held his breath and tapped the search button. The results popped up, and he quickly selected a video showing men reading the Bible loudly on a busy city sidewalk. He pressed play. The voices were serious and sharp, quoting scripture forcefully about a covenant and an identity. Myles felt a hot tension build in his chest. His mind raced, torn between the stern voices on the screen and Pastor Chop's words echoing in his head. They are not the chosen people. They confuse the flock. The intensity was too much, and Myles quickly hit pause. The frozen image on the screen, a man's sharp silhouette against the bright streetlights, immediately triggered a memory. It looked just like the shadowy figure from his powerful dream a few weeks ago, the one who had commanded, "Wake up, young one." Myles squeezed his eyes shut tight. Why did everything strange, the church conflict, the history, the anger, keep leading him back to that dream? He put the tablet away under the covers. He tried to lie down and sleep, but then the soft, internal hum returned, vibrating faintly inside his head, like a deep cello note only he could hear. Myles sat straight up in bed, looking around the dark room, his heart pounding. "If this is you," he whispered into the darkness, "what do you want from me?" The hum faded, leaving only the sound of his own fast breathing. The next morning, Myles sat in his room, not on a tablet, but with the small Bible open on his desk. Downstairs, he overheard his parents talking softly in the kitchen. "He's so serious," Tamara said. "I wonder if church is getting to be too much for him." Paul's voice was low. "No, I think something's happening in him. He's trying to figure out the deep stuff." A few minutes later, his mom came in, bringing a warm mug of herbal tea. She sat on the edge of his bed. Myles closed the Bible, careful not to lose his place. "Mom," he started, "why does Pastor Chop sound so mad when he talks about the Israelite people?" Tamara took a sip of her own drink. "He doesn't want people confused, honey. There are many different voices out there, and sometimes they shout over the truth. God isn't the author of confusion," she reminded him, squeezing his arm gently. "You can bring all these concerns, all these big questions, straight to God or to us." Myles looked down at the mug. "What if I don't know what to ask yet?" Tamara smiled. "Then you simply say, 'Lord, help me understand.' That's enough." Myles looked back at the open Bible pages, reflecting that he didn't know what he was waking up to, only that everything was changing. Myles Awakens, Episode 4, Part 2. The Search Continues. It was late afternoon. Myles sat cross-legged on his bedroom floor, the curtains half closed, making the room dim. His tablet lay on the floor in front of him. He hesitated before unlocking it. "Just don't watch too much, just a little," he whispered. But he knew he was lying to himself. He typed, "Who are the real Israelites?" The search bar autofilled before he finished typing. A small chill ran through him. Search results flooded the screen. Some videos showed Israelites reading from scripture calmly. Others showed people yelling at each other. Articles warned about controversial groups. Myles' eyes moved carefully over each thumbnail. He bit his lip and whispered, "Why does everyone say something different?" He tapped a calmer-looking video of a man teaching softly from the Bible. On screen, a man read a verse gently, not yelling. He explained, "Israel is scattered among all nations and will remember themselves in the land of their captivity." Myles leaned in, eyes wide. He paused the video and whispered, "Remember themselves? What does that mean?" He rewound it, watched again, still didn't understand, but something about the verse felt familiar, almost like he'd heard it before. Myles closed his eyes, and suddenly he saw it, the glowing Hebrew letters from his dream. The silhouette, the voice whispering, "Wake up." He clenched his hands. No, that was just a dream, but he wasn't sure anymore. He turned the tablet off quickly, then turned it back on, then off again. He didn't know what he wanted. He whispered to himself, "I shouldn't be scared, but I am." He grabbed his Bible and flipped through pages without reading them. His breathing was uneven, a mix of fear and curiosity he couldn't explain. He heard his parents downstairs talking softly.
He's been in his room for hours. No cartoons, no games.
He's thinking about something big. He's just not ready to talk yet.
His dad replied. Myles sat still, listening.
I'm worried, not scared, just worried.
We'll get through to him, baby. He just needs time.
Myles lowered his head, feeling a strange guilt wash over him. He closed his door gently and stood still in the center of the room. The air suddenly felt heavier, thicker, almost like the beginning of the dream. Myles whispered, "Please, not right now." The shadows on his wall stretched a little longer than they should. The hum began again, faint but real. Myles stepped back toward his bed. He clutched the Bible to his chest. The hum grew slightly louder, still soft, still internal. Then came a whisper. "You are searching, but you fear what you will find." Myles gasped and looked around the room. No one was there. The room was still. He whispered, Why me?" There was no answer. His mom knocked softly.
Hey, baby. You wanna come down and eat something?
I'm fine, Mama. I'll come down in a little bit.
Okay, just remember you're not alone in here.
She walked away. Myles stared at the door long after she left. Myles sat on the edge of his bed, holding the Bible with both hands. His voice cracked as he whispered,
God, if this is you, please help me understand.
Shadows shrank back to normal. Everything became quiet again. He took a slow breath through his nose. He didn't know what was happening, but he knew the questions inside him weren't going away. Not now, not ever. Myles Awakens, Episode 4, Part 3, The Close Encounter. The sun was beginning to set. Golden light spilled across Myles's room as he sat at his desk with the Bible open in front of him. He didn't read. He just stared at the words, his fingers tracing the page slowly. Something inside him felt unsettled, like he wasn't alone in the quiet. Downstairs, his mom and dad talked softly, their voices carrying through the floorboards. He wasn't listening to the words, but he could feel the concern in their tone. Myles exhaled and whispered, I just want to understand. The air in his room shifted, not colder, not warmer, just still, the kind of stillness that made him sit up straight. Even the noise from downstairs felt muted, like someone had pressed their hand over his ears. Myles looked toward the corner of his room, unsure why. Nothing was there. but it felt like something was about to happen. The lamp on his nightstand flickered. Once, then again. Myles swallowed hard and gripped the edge of his chair. "No, not now," he whispered. But the flicker didn't stop this time. The light dimmed slowly, as if someone was turning a dial down. Not enough to turn it off, but enough to change the color of the room. That hum, the same one from the dreams, the same one from Pastor Chop's sermon, rose up inside him again, not in his ears. Inside him, he pressed a hand over his chest instinctively. "Why does this keep happening?" he breathed. The Bible page began trembling under his hand, though the room itself was perfectly still. Myles pulled his hand back quickly. Shadows near the wall stretched long and slow, bending in a way shadows shouldn't bend. They leaned toward him, not aggressively, more like they were drawn to him. Myles felt a pressure behind him, almost like someone was standing right over his shoulder, watching quietly. He didn't turn around. He couldn't. A faint whisper cut through the quiet, not outside him, inside, but clearer this time. "You are waking." Myles' breath caught. He closed his eyes tightly, shaking his head. "No, I don't want this. I don't understand this." The hum grew warmer, not scarier, like sunlight passing through his chest. When Myles opened his eyes, his room was still there, but something else layered over it, a faint outline, a silhouette, standing a few feet away, not fully formed, not solid, more like a shadow made of light. Its presence felt ancient and calm. Myles' hands trembled on his knees. "Please, please tell me what you want," he whispered. The silhouette shifted, taking one slow step toward him. Everything in the room responded. The air grew heavy. The pages of the Bible fluttered. The shadows leaned in. The hum vibrated through the floor. Myles covered his ears even though the sound wasn't loud. "Stop. I'm scared," he whispered, but the silhouette didn't move back. The pages of the Bible flipped rapidly on their own, stopping at a verse Myles had never seen before. The lamp glowed brighter for a moment, illuminating a single sentence. Myles leaned forward, heart pounding, as his eyes focused on the words that whisper. That same voice spoke again. "Remember." The room trembled. Myles gasped. A burst of blinding white light filled his vision, not painful, but overwhelming, like standing too close to the sun. For a split second, Myles saw the silhouette's face beginning to form, still hidden, but closer than ever. Then everything snapped away. The light, the shadows, the hum, the presence, all gone. Myles found himself alone in his room, breathing hard, gripping the Bible with white knuckles. Downstairs, his mom called up.
Myles! You okay, baby?
He didn't answer. He couldn't. He stared at the Bible, eyes wide, whispering, "What are you trying to show me?"